otherwise known as leggings. And I think we have all become way too familiar with these in the last, year plus. Cheryl Pluff here, Leslie Christin from CARA Cosmetics. All joking aside, we have had quite a time, us entrepreneurs, in the last year or so. And so, what we're really talking about today is after all this craziness, how can we really start moving toward a place where we can still, feel put together? Still, we want to be comfortable, but we're going back to work. A lot of people now, Leslie, are moving from their home office back to the working environment that they left before the pandemic. And so now we have to say goodbye to leggings and yoga pants and the comforts of that, and really look at ways that we can up level ourselves in 2022. So excited to have you here today to talk about some image tweaks, really, some image updates that we can apply. And I know you have a special event coming up, which we're going to talk about in just a bit. So, Leslie, excited to be here. Excited to have you here with us. What are some things that we need to be really looking forward to in 2022 in terms of our look and really how we project ourselves in our workplace?
Well, thank you, Cheryl, first off, for inviting me. And I'm excited for the new year. However, I would say that we are kind of going into a whole new year, and having had the past 2 years wearing yoga pants for the most part and being comfortable. And again, what I'm seeing with a lot of my clients, again, I have a makeup studio here in Central Florida. So I'm actually in Central Florida and Cheryl's in Canada. And and having worked in film and TV and with so many different executives and all of that, it's really kind of been, I think, a little bit of a daunting time, because a lot of people have started new jobs, or they're on camera, of course, working with you, or they've been for a year and a half, close to 2 years at home, and now they're being required to go back to the office. I mean, so there's a lot of change that's happening, and I think a lot of us might have indulged a little bit more into laziness, or maybe gained a couple of pounds, or I mean, there's just like all of these things that I see that clients come in and they say, "Oh, I've got to go back into the office. I've had these products that I haven't used for 2 years," which that's another thing we can talk about, shelf life, right? But I'm feeling blah, and what do I do? And so I put together a course, Looks to Lead, because these are the people that I work with. And so I'm thinking, okay, how can we make it easy for them, and fun and exciting to kind of, let's step it up for the new year and bring your best face forward, your best self. And so I would say the best things that you can do is kind of look at yourself fresh, which I know is very difficult to do. And that's one of the things that I get to do. I get to look at you from fresh new eyes, without the judgment, without staring at your wrinkles, without, all of these things. And so that would be, I would say, number one. Just had a client came in, and what we did is we inventoried all of her old stuff and created a fresh new look with a lot of things that she already had, and then found a couple of components, because again, she wanted, we're going into a new season, and so that's number one. Yes, sure.
You said looking at it with fresh eyes, and I think that's hard to do it's hard to do that for your own self. Like, to look at yourself in the mirror, you see all your own flaws. We see things differently when we look in the mirror than when someone like you, like a third party, right, an expert like yourself, looks at someone and says, "Oh, this is your best feature, or here's how to highlight that, or here's how I see you." And those are two very different things, especially in a world where there are a lot of people just have a lot of inhibitions or insecurities about themselves. So this concept of, like, with fresh eyes, I think, is really key and important. I just wanted to mention, Leslie, though, For your audience who's watching, or for mine, my Cash In on Camera audience who's watching right now, if you're watching this live, you're in luck because today we have a very special event with Leslie, and she has an amazing event coming up on November 29th that we're going to tell you about, Looks to Lead. But if you're watching the replay at some point in the future, and this is of interest to you, just reach out to Leslie, CARA Cosmetics, and she will be able to point you in the right direction. So just want to mention that since we're going live today. But I'm excited about what you've put together because it ties into leadership. It ties into what is your image that you're projecting in a leadership role? Why is it important to have a leadership look?
Well, if you are a leader, first off, or you're wanting to be a leader, or you have a team, it's important that your visual aligns with, what your expertise is, because we're in an immediate and analysis judgment world, just like our audience is judging you and I. I know we kind of want to be nice and we want to, but are we credible? And these are the things that now more than ever, you have to appear as successful, as knowledgeable, as confident. And that is going to be your outside appearance. Whether
Whether you
you
like it or not.
or not.
You don't. We wouldn't. We don't want to think, oh well, people are judging me. But listen, we're all human. Like we do. But I think that this idea or concept of judgment doesn't always have to be necessarily like a bad thing.
No,
Right?
no.
It's like, okay, that's human nature. People are going to judge each other. But if you come into it prepared and you're feeling good and confident about your hair, your makeup, your style, how you're presenting yourself, then it's like, go ahead, judge. Go ahead.
Well, I
But the key
interviewed.
is having that foundation in place, I think.
Absolutely. And the thing is that, and maybe judging might not be the right word, but
Mhm.
if you take that on, if you're looking for a new job, absolutely, do you fit that criteria? So
Right.
let's say I have a lot of clients that are luxury realtors as well. And if someone is going to list their multi-million dollar home and you look like you shop at a discount store, you're not aligned. You are not branded to attract that client that's giving you the biggest asset they own. So you can't overlook that. And so that's where it comes in, where I find that my expertise is a little unique in the sense of having worked in film and television, because I say that we are the protagonist of our own brand. And just like you, Cheryl, you've transitioned with your careers as to how you look, how you dress, and you always look gorgeous. But you've adapted to a different audience as well. And so that is what we do, and that's what you need to do. And
Yeah.
you need to look at who is your audience. Let's say you work for a corporation, you're a CEO or you're an entrepreneur, and you want to. But the key is that you want to find your style. You want to find what works for you, because I find that a lot of times people think, like today, okay, this is what I had in my office. Like I keep a couple of outfits behind the door because I'm doing different things within my studio.
Yeah.
And so, and I do love a jacket, I do like a bit of structure to my clothes. And so it just kind of works for me. It's easy. Our brand is black and white. So I don't have to think about it. I don't have a lot of time. And so that is on brand for me. And however, I'm a little funky. So you're always going to see me with some funky shoes. I've got like leopard shoes or this or that, because that's part of being an artist and that's part of my brand. And so when we go a little deeper into finding what we call our style archetype, I feel like that's really important, because you don't want to dress how it, you know, in a way that it doesn't empower you just because it might be on brand for your corporation. There
Yeah.
are ways to tie that uniqueness and your style and make you feel great. And
I
that
think that I think
Mhm.
that often happens when entrepreneurs try to emulate, or rather not emulate, but imitate someone else that they see whose brand they like and admire. So they'll see
Yes.
someone, and they'll say, "Oh, it works for her. Therefore, I'm going to dress that way." And then they wonder, "Well, why is this not working?" First of all, they don't feel comfortable in their own skin, but secondly, it's not really resonating because it isn't for them. And I think that's the really key piece of this, is to make sure that the style that you project is unique to your own self, like to your personality and so many other factors that go into play around brand. And it's really, really key, I think, to do that. So yes, like when I see you, and we've known each other for quite some time,
Yeah.
that this is you, right? This is you. Whereas me, yeah, I'm probably, sometimes I don't always dress like with flowers and whatever, but I'm doing a little bit more color,
Mhm.
because I was, frankly, it's really kind of part of my background as a broadcaster. That's one of the things that we often do, right? Pops of color and different things. So it is more on brand with me, but I'm also just as comfortable to come on here with less makeup and with a sweater, because it kind of fits the way, what I do today, my brand today, which I'm often talking about. It doesn't have to be perfect, and progress over perfection. And these messages that want to resonate with my audience, I have to dress the part so that I'm not kind of talking one way and then doing something different. Um,
Yes.
so let's dive in. The three image updates that you want to share with us. Was number one, was image update number one the idea of having fresh eyes?
Yes, I believe so. It's really important that you give yourself a break.
Yeah.
That and part of it, being well in my 50s, it's okay to age too. And I do mostly work with women. I work with men as well, but mostly with women. And so I think that and Cheryl, I just wanted to go back to one really, I feel like it's really important what you had said about when you kind of find something and you want to you imitate that, or and so of course YouTube is filled with makeup
Yes.
tutorials.
Yes.
and and
Yes.
so as a leader, you have to, you want to seek out an expert. Don't try to adapt somebody's look onto yourself because your features aren't the same. This exterior is an investment and it's part of your brand. And so knowing your unique qualities and your best assets and having those shine, that's what you want to do. You don't want to focus on the things that are not your best assets. You want to focus on what you've got that's your best. And so that, I would say, is one. Um, then another thing is, I think, is really, and this is part of what we do. We go through a process where you kind of, we call it a closet edit. How much junk do we have? I mean, we wear a
So
portion
much.
of what our closet is. So that's a great thing to do, is going in and clearing out your closet. I mean, I love Marie Kondo,
Yeah.
with her, Japanese way of tidying. It's a process, but if you're really ready to take that on, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym and I am going to lose this 10 pounds, right? You can't kind of half-ass do that. You know what I mean? Like you got
Right.
to be committed. So I would say that that's part of it. Also looking at it, and then really, the third thing I would say is to really start looking at. I love Pinterest. You and I have kind of done a little bit of this too. Start looking at what you like.
Yeah.
Create a style board. That's one of the things that we do as well through the process, because it gives you inspiration, and then you can start to see, okay, well, yeah, I love this, or I love this style, but that might not be the best for me. Or, hey, I never thought about this. And so you start to, it's kind of like having an interior designer in your home, or
And it's a
watching.
fun process.
It
It's
is.
fun. Like, I think that's enjoyable, to go through and just look at, not necessarily to compare ourselves or to imitate or whatever, but as inspiration only. And
Mhm.
putting that, I think Pinterest is one of the best places to do that. Like you said, create a board. And then you can at least kind of keep it all in one place, this kind of inspiration, board, if you will. And then be able to bring that to the table. Let's say, in the looks to lead program, or somewhere where we can help, to craft kind of a look. And I know we're going to get to talking about that in a moment. So those are great tips, Leslie. I like that. Fresh, a set of fresh eyes, maybe a third party like yourself to kind of go in and say, these are your best features, or here's how I see, giving, it's really advice, giving advice, editing the closet, editing the makeup kit, which you mentioned this at the top of it as well, is that after a year, or actually it's right, you're right, it's almost 2 years,
Yeah.
wishful thinking of 1 year, but yeah, 2 years of this, that a lot of that makeup now is expired. So, you have to kind of look at that, clothing, hairstyle, makeup, all of those things, edit. And then the third is inspiration. I wanted to just mention, though, Patricia is a friend of mine, and actually she just wrote this in on the messages. So she says, her online on-camera work has thrown a wrench into her signature style. Prior to online, she was known for her style that always included a jacket. This is true. She is someone who's always polished and like put together. But even Patricia, of all people, is kind of feeling the pinch of this right now. So, what advice might you have there, Leslie?
Well, let me see. Is Patricia someone that's kind of changed her career, or she kind of gone into a bit of a different
You know what? I can't say for sure as of the last, year.
Mhm.
But she is someone who works with executive women in leadership roles, actually, for the most
Wow,
part. Yeah.
perfect. So, and I think we just kind of get in it's just like, they may be some great things. So no change in career. Perfect. Okay. So, again, you have huge climate changes. And that's something also that you've got to look at as well. You get, being in Canada, my goodness, from the summer to the winter, you're having to revamp your skincare. You're having to really kind of even look at
Mhm.
probably how you style your hair, I would think, unless you're completely interior, and also to clothing. So I would say finding maybe she's saying online on camera work has thrown a wrench into my signature style. So because you're always having to be on camera, if I'm understanding it correctly, she was just kind of like her jacket was her thing.
Yeah, she says,
So
Patricia says, I find that Pinterest has great styles, but still not practical.
mhm,
And I think that's a good point. Sometimes they see things and they're kind of out of reach. Um, it's like when I used to read 17 magazine as a teen, inspiration, yes, but practical, not so helpful.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly it, Patricia, like looking at those types of things for inspiration only, almost just like as a jumping off point, but then taking that and going, okay, how do we bring this back down to real life? I think it's the same thing when you see haute couture or you see like runway, fashion shows and things like that. And you look at it and you go, there is no way I would wear that, but there could be some parts of it. Maybe it's more the essence of it, like the
Mhm.
funkiness of it or something like that could be brought in and brought down to real life. I totally hear you on that.
Yes. And
Um,
and one thing I would mention with Patricia is that when and again, this is one of the first things that I ask a lot of questions to find out what's on brand for you, what works with your lifestyle. And it sounds like there's a bit of a disconnect from, now being on camera, so maybe from here up, right, to what you were used to before is kind of what I'm understanding. And then it might be, some clients, they all they want to do is spend 15 minutes to be completely ready. Some other people, I have clients that more is better and they'll glam it up to the nines. but most of us tend to be busy people. So you have to look at how much time are you going to spend. Another thing that I feel is really important is that, especially for leadership, is or being on camera, is making sure that you have a cohesive look throughout your social media, your headshot, your website. I find a lot of times we all have beautiful headshots, and then when we're on a live, oh my goodness,
It
we
doesn't
do
look like the
not
same
look like
person.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it's very important to make sure that what you are projecting is within the capability and what you want to, the amount of time that you want to spend and how you want to look, and how confident and comfortable it makes you feel. I feel that that's pretty much the biggest thing that you want to, you want to look at. And that's, again, maybe Patricia, you might be wanting to kind of, relook at your style, because over the past several years trends have changed, hairstyles are changing, there's a lot of things, and we are habitual. I'm a habitual person too, so
Well,
I don't
listen,
know if
I
that
I have
helps
to
you.
admit, I've been feeling that way too. And I'm someone who, coming from television, kind of felt like I had that on lock for a long time. But I've been away from the broadcasting industry for now, going on 5 years. And
Mhm.
so I feel the same way. I feel like kind of like a refresh, a revamp, kind of start over, kind of look at 2022 with a fresh set of eyes. And I'm just showing on the screen here the Looks to Lead website, lookstolead.com, where of course people can go and get information. We have a special offer for our audience today. If you're interested to join Leslie and her team for the November 29th start date of the Looks to Lead program. So I'm just showing this on the screen just to give a sense of, like,
Mhm.
some of the things that that we're talking about in terms of
Here's
this leadership look. This is a great example, like right here.
she's a perfect example of, before I met her, this, the picture on the left was, that was her picture online. And she's a successful dermatologist. Um, she is, she's actually Greek and Jamaican.
Mm,
So, she has this really, you can't really tell, where she comes from, and has this beautiful exotic beauty about her. But I mean, when you look at those two pictures, you automatically go, wow, she looks the part, she looks successful. The
yeah,
first
yeah,
one, it's
yeah.
even
The
the
first one,
quality of the photo is not even that great. So
right?
that's super important to see. These are, a lot of you probably know Annika Sorenstam. She's, one of the top golfers, and
Hmm.
was one of the top golfers in the world.
Hmm.
Super casual, right? This was a layout that we did for a magazine, but still kind of bringing the essence of some femininity, but very, very natural look to her. She's
Yeah,
not somebody that wants any kind of frilliness.
right.
And so that's, I
Yeah.
think it's really important to find your, understand who you are, what your style is, and what you like. Yes.
I'm just putting on the screen here that we have put together a special promo code for our audience, the Cash In on Camera audience. So CIOC is the promo code that you can use, and you'll get $300 off. And this is only limited, it is limited to the first 30 participants. So this is a November 29th program. My advice would be to jump on this today if you want to get and take advantage of the $300 off, because Leslie and her team have already had interest, and it's not just 30 participants of our community; it's 30 participants total. And there have been people already registering for the Looks to Lead program, which starts on November 29th. So if you're interested, take advantage. Go to lookstolead.com. You can use the promo code CIOC and then receive that $300 off. But we're excited to be able to partner together, because this is not work that I do, right, Leslie? Like, I don't provide these types of services,
Right.
and so that's why I think that when you told me about this, I said, well, we have to jump on and tell my audience about this, because this is exactly what they need, right? They need to have this kind of like up leveling, these image updates, and it's I think it's really twofold. One is for the on-camera stuff, which I think is going to be part of our normal everyday life and vernacular going forward. Like this
Right.
isn't going anywhere.
Mhm.
But I think it's also applicable in the program where you're going to be helping people to really dial in their leadership look for when they, for both virtual and in person, because that's what's happening now. As we're starting to see, we're going back to the office, but there might still be a bit of work being done from home. You really have to have both areas dialed in, and they need to be congruent with each other. You can't have one look online and then have a totally different look when you're at the office.
Right, right. And I find that even, I was going to say, even if you don't consider yourself a leader, I mean, this program could even be good for if you're going from college into the workplace. If you're young and you still haven't established, because it is going, how people see you and how it's going to make you feel, and knowing, hey, I've got this down. It's not going to take me that long, and I know I look my best. Then you can concentrate on everything else that you do. Because like you said, in 2020, we are on camera now. That's the way, or whether it's even an interview or you're dealing with clients that way. We get stuck in a rut. My area of expertise, like Cheryl said, I don't do what you do, and and you're an expert at it. So why not go to an expert, right? But the thing I want to really say is that to really look at yourself, and because I feel like corporations will spend tons of money on teaching you how to speak, on, a logo, on making sure that the font is exact, but not really spending the amount of time, or maybe because there aren't a lot of us out there that do this, on really making sure that leader looks great and feels great. That's the confidence component about it.
And that's the thing, right? This is about leadership look and developing that and making the 2022 your best year yet for feeling the way or looking on the outside the way that you feel on the inside, right? Like making those things congruent. And Laura Ann just wrote, very true. Your brand is your business. And so that's where I think we have to think about this, is like joining a program like this, Looks to Lead, is a great investment in yourself. And, I think that what you're put together here, frankly, is beyond incredible for value, right? That the price point that you have, go to lookstolead.com to learn more about where we're at with all of that. But, if you, on top of that, if you just use the CIOC promo code for the first 30 participants only, then you're going to get that for an incredible investment. It's just so wild what you've put together. And I know there's a lot of detail to that, which will encourage people to go to the website to read. But I think that looking at these 3 image updates, the ones that you shared with us today, are really key. Leslie, is just looking at like, okay, getting some advice, a fresh set of eyes to be able to really look at your unique situation, be able to analyze that and say, here's how we can craft a leadership look that's really going to be not just even unique to you, but make it represent you, I think, is the key thing.
Mhm.
And then the second thing is about editing, editing your makeup, editing your closet, editing kind of your style life, so that it really isn't complicated, confusing, or overwhelming. And then
Yeah.
the third is looking at inspiration. Those are just some 3 tips that you've shared with us today. Go on Pinterest, find some unique things that you like, and kind of put that together. And then full circle, bring that to the group, bring that to the consultative approach that you take in the Looks to Lead program, and then say, here's the inspiration board I've put together. What do you think? Patricia made a good point too. It's not realistic. No, but let's make it realistic. Let's make it realistic so that you can actually start putting all this together. Yeah, I love it.
And it's fun. That's the thing. I have so much fun with my clients, and it should not be intimidating. I mean, we are in a safe space. I've put together, not only, you get actually a one-on-one with, an artist, as well as a group sessions and on-demand sessions. So we have it broken down to where you start off with developing your style, finding out, your archetype, then going into really, creating that brand, then doing some, edits with your products, knowing what it is. A lot of times I would say, for people, it's really discovering maybe a new ritual that you want or that you need, and to make your life better. And if you are, like I said, kind of you're kind of transitioning maybe a little bit. Maybe it might be, oh, okay, I don't look the same as I used to 10 years ago on camera. What do I do? So there's a lot of things that can be changed or enhanced, I like to say, that can really make you feel good about yourself. And so why not explore that aspect of it? Because like Laura Ann, yes, I love that. Your brand is your business, and it's
Yes.
and I ask, especially my clients, that are realtors, for example, that are on camera and doing Facebook Lives and all that. How much does it cost you if you don't get that listing or that client? That's thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars oftentimes that you're losing because visually you're not aligned, or you're maybe not attracting that kind of client that you're wanting.
Yeah.
So
No, there's no doubt. I mean, I think it's just looking at how you present yourself to the world is of course paramount. It has everything to do with brand, has everything to do with image. It does impact your business ultimately. What
yeah,
you've put together here though, Leslie, I just have to say is it's beyond. And that was partly the reason why I was so excited to have you on and share this not only with my audience but with yours as well, because we're using Restream, and I know you're broadcasting this out to your audience as well.
yeah.
But that's why I was like, we need to talk about this, because this is really key stuff. This is not something that I teach, and so for my audience, use the promo code CIOC. Go over to lookstolead.com, get registered, but do it today, because only the first 30 participants of the program will get that $300 off. So you're talking about, do you want to say what the investment is?
Absolutely. Well,
Okay, go.
yes. So this is our 'cause this is 2021. So it's $595. So you're actually getting this for $295. This is I mean, it's
It's
really a
insane.
ridiculous price. I know. Cheryl was kind of like, "Are you serious? Really?" And I said, "You know what? I want to launch this. This is my thank you
Yeah.
to your client, and because I I know what a difference this can make, and putting it together in a fun course, things that I do one-on-one, things that we've done in different programs, to really just be able to serve you and to help you, and to
It's
see.
remarkable.
Yeah.
And I know we've spoken off air, or offline, and and Leslie was very clear to say, listen, it's almost really kind of a labor of love. Like I really want to put together all of my best stuff into this one program, so I can actually help people, especially considering the circumstances that a lot of, especially women, are finding themselves in, right? As they're grappling with the online and the offline, and I got to go back to the office, but I'm partly at home, and all this stuff, and people are just low self-confidence, low self-esteem, insecurities, all this kind of thing. Again, coming full circle to the leggings, right? Spending the last year or two just kind of sitting in comfort land with leggings, and realizing that I got to let these go now. I've got to let these go. How am I going to pull myself together? I think it's those are the frustrations, and
Mhm.
I've been feeling that as well. Like I look, and I so love what you're putting together, because I think we all feel that way to some degree. But if we can find help, then we can put things together again, right? And that's what's so exciting about this. So, any parting words, Leslie, that you want to share with people about the program before we wrap it up?
Oh, well, again, if you feel that you're kind of in a rut, that you are maybe not feeling that confident, that you could amp it up or you want to, then this is for you. This, I mean, it is a price that you'll never get again.
No doubt.
It's a lot of work on our end. It
It
is a
is.
lot of
It
work.
is.
And if you were working one-on-one with me, yeah, like that wouldn't even, but it is going to be something that we will get to grow together, and it'll be over a 3-week period. So it'll end before the holidays. So that's another thing. And I do want to say something too, is that if you're somebody that also goes out and gets their makeup done oftentimes, think of the amount of money that you're going to save, or just in streamlining your style and your makeup and everything else. That's another thing that clients say about, the having these services is, and I've got keynote speakers, I've got, again, actors, I've worked with tons of them, but I like working with professionals. I really feel that this is the top preferred client of mine that I truly enjoy. And so if you think that this is something, or even if you want to call and get more information, feel free to give us a ring too. But I would love to. I know this will make a difference, and I think it's gonna really inspire you for the new year. And I reached out to you, Cheryl, because I know that your clients could so enjoy this and just take it up a notch with what you offer them too.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing too. I love what Patricia says. This is a gift to myself. And I'd love for you to think of it that way, right? Is that this is a gift to yourself and that you do deserve it. One of the things that I have decided to do as well for my own audience, Leslie, anyone, and I know we're going to figure it out, we're going to keep track, right? But anyone from my audience who takes you up on this incredible offer to join the Looks for Lead program at this incredible, price and discount, I'm going to do something special in the new year as well, around backgrounds and video. So once you're kind of feeling yourself after Leslie and her team are done with you in January, for anyone in my audience who does this program, I'm going to put together a special training as well. And we're going to talk about things like, well, I get a lot of questions about how do you make that little light back there? And how do you make, why is the background dark? There is a whole strategy around why that is. And I'll be sharing all of that. So just to kind of make it even sweeter, certainly my audience, and we'll connect. You'll give me the list of who all did it, and I'm going to go to them and say, hey, we're going to get together, and I'm going to do a special thing for you as well, just because I think it's so important.
I love it.
And you know what?
Patricia's done.
She's in. I know. She's great.
She's in.
Great. Oh, you're gonna love Patricia. And so I think it's really important. And just to wrap this up, I think it's not just the makeup, it's not just the clothes, it's not all of that. It's how you feel about yourself. It's confidence, really, right? It's how you project yourself to the world. When you feel confident, you feel like you can take on the world. And that's what we need more than ever in leaders in 2022. We need leaders to step up. We need people who are confident and are out there doing the good work, right? Because that's the kind of work that we need in the world. So Leslie, thank you so much for coming on and sharing this, the lookstolead.com. So just go there, and I'll bring this back up on the screen one more time. But yeah, just go to lookstolead.com. Anyone in my audience who uses the promo code CIOC is going to get $300 off for the first 30 participants, though. Okay, so don't wait. This is the time to do it. It would be today. Go and register and get yourself set up. The program begins on November 29th, 2021. If you are watching this on the replay, just connect with Leslie at CARA Cosmetics, and she'll be happy to send you in the direction of their latest training. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm excited. Thanks for sharing your tips with us today.
Oh, absolutely. Well, this was beautiful. And I'm thrilled and honored to be in front of your audience and to be able to, help them and become friends. So great.
Have a great day there in Florida.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. Bye.